Welcome to the Joe Monroe Show. Now, here's your host, Joe Monroe. Hello, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the History of Pro Wrestling. I am your host, Joe Monroe, and today we're not looking at a specific territory, but we're going to look at the career of none other than superstar Bill Dundee, which he wrestled for CWA and USWA for most of his career. This is something we want to start doing. Once we go over the territory at the beginning of the month, we will pick out specific wrestlers from that said territory that is associated with them the most. But before we get started on this episode, let's go ahead and shout out some sponsors real quick.
First and foremost, we want to shout out our sponsors, Phenomenal Finds ATL. If you're looking for anything retro, check out phenomenalfindsatl.com, as well as our partners and sponsors, Triple Crown Wrestling and Ultimate Championship Wrestling, as they are bringing back the sport of professional wrestling as it should be back to the state of Kentucky, as well as our new sponsor, JDE Designs. If you're looking for anything for your podcast or show, check out JDE Designs, as well as Les Murphy Painting. If you're having any issues with any painting needs, contact Les Murphy at 734-334-3702.
And as always, I want to thank our sponsors for their support of the Joe Monroe Show, and thank you, the fans, because without you, I wouldn't be doing this right now. And I want to say our stats, we are currently over 600 followers on our Facebook page, and we are over 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So thank you all so much for your support. We will continue on providing you this pro wrestling content the best that we can, and we cannot grow without you all. So thank you so much. Now, let's go ahead and get into the episode.
Bill Dundee, or known as Superstar Bill Dundee, was born on October 24th, 1943, and he started his wrestling career in Australia in 1962, and would eventually travel to the States in 1974, tag teaming with his partner, George Barnes.
Which, side note, he actually traveled with the circus, which is kind of convenient because a lot of people don't know this. Professional wrestling started with the circus. It was at an attraction. There was usually one match with a 1 hour time limit. So, little side note there. Let's go ahead and get back to the pictures real quick.
Now, while in the States, he was mostly known for working with CWA and USWA. And most notably, during those times in the territories, he won the Southern Heavyweight Championship belt several times between the years 1975 to 1985, and even had a very successful tag team run, most notably with the Nature Boy Buddy Landell.
Now, Dundee is mostly known for, as I stated earlier, with CWA and USWA, which is, of course, Memphis. He will stay in Memphis for the majority of his career, but he also traveled with and worked for briefly Jim Crockett Promotions. He also worked with Central States Wrestling and Florida Championship Wrestling, which we'll get into those territories later date. I'm going to try to cover all the territories of professional wrestling, so we'll get to those at a later date.
Now, during his time in Central States Wrestling, he had a notable feud with Sam Houston, where they would battle over the NWA Central States Heavyweight Championship. Then later on in his career, he will move to the AWA with his former rival and tag partner, Jerry the King Lawler, where they not only captured the AWA tag team titles once, but twice within the same year. Now, later on in his career, he will move on as a manager to work with Lord Stephen Regal, or William Regal as people may know him today, under the name Sir William, and it actually got over pretty well with the crowd.
Speaking of him being a manager, I did not know this. He briefly managed the Barbarian and the Mod Squad in the territories with Jim Crockett Promotions, Central States Wrestling, and Florida Championship Wrestling. So not only should he be recognized for his pro wrestling career, but he should also be recognized for his managerial skills.
Now, not only did he work as a wrestling manager, but he's also worked as a wrestling booker. He's also worked as a little bit of a writer. And what I mean by that is that he wrote his own book titled If You Don't Want the Answer, Don't Ask the Question, the Bill Dundee life story, which is, something I urge everyone to get. But his career would come to an end in 2019 with his last match being against Tony Deppen for Game Changer Wrestling in Tacoma, Tennessee.
And that was the career of Bill Dundee. I know I could have went more in depth. I wish I can show videos without getting copyright strikes. Thanks, YouTube. But, Bill Dundee is one of those professional wrestlers I still believe does not get enough credit. I know I said it at the beginning of this video, but I want to say it again. Not only for his professional wrestling, but him as a manager, him as a booker. He's one of those people that I would urge any professional wrestler getting into the business to watch, because I know he was short because he was under 5'5", but he was a heck of a wrestler. And from what I can tell, he was a heck of a booker, too. I mean, he even wrestled The Rock when he was Flex Kavana, for crying out loud. Or Kavana. Kavana? However you say it. But he did wrestle him. He wrestled a lot of, WWE superstars, as people want to call them. I still call them professional wrestlers, but that's another topic for another day. But that was the career of Bill Dundee. And to be completely honest with you, he was one of a kind. There will be no one like Bill Dundee in the professional wrestling world. I mean, heck, we can connect him with somebody else who will be on the next episode. We're actually going to talk about Bobby Eaton on the next episode, which was actually Bill Dundee's son-in-law. He's just to think about all the rivalries he had, not only in Memphis, but in AWA, Florida, for the Crockett's. I mean, this man went everywhere. And for any Hall of Fames that is possible for the sport of professional wrestling, he needs to be in them. And he deserves the recognition. And with that being said, I want to personally thank Bill Dundee for his hard work in the sport. And he is still alive to this day. So, Bill, if by chance you're watching this, thank you so much, sir, for everything you have done for the sport of professional wrestling. And you deserve any and all recognition that this sport can give you. And that is the episode, folks. I appreciate your love and support, and thank you for watching this episode. If you want me to cover a specific territory next, let me know in the comments below. But I will have to say, we do have something special going on this Wednesday. We're going to have a very special guest on, per the agreement to get the Joe Monroe Show back from one Austin Diamond. We're going to have none other than Kentucky wrestling legend Scott Diamond on the show Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will also have a brand new episode of the History of Pro Wrestling where we're going to talk about none other than the King, Jerry Lawler. So be on the lookout for those episodes. As always, thank you all for your love and support. Thank you again to our sponsors, especially Mayhem Media and Triple Crown and Ultimate Championship Wrestling. But without that being said, folks, you all have a safe day. Have a great Monday. Try to, at least. I know it's Monday. Everybody's got the case on the Mondays. But I want to thank everybody for their support. And as always, support the crazy sport of professional wrestling. We are out.
You've been listening to the Joe Monroe Show with Joe Monroe. Don't forget to like and subscribe.